Looking at mobile devices, it's not just our cell phones, but really anything that we attach, anything external, anything you can walk around with. External hard drives, USB drives, CDs, laptops, and then obviously cell phones. And the more devices we connect, the more complex policies, procedures, and standards we need. We need to ensure that every device we have data on is secure. Most of our internal threats are not malicious people. They just don't know any better. They don't think about it, or they figured it wouldn't be that bad, or they wouldn't be found out. I know of a breach where the guy just wanted to go outside and have a smoke. He didn't want to have to go through the access point and the control and all that stuff, so he just took a back door, opened it, smoked, closed it. He'd been doing it for months. One night he forgot about it. He closed the door, but he didn't ensure that it was closed all the way, and someone was able to enter the building. He wasn't a bad guy, he was just lazy. Or another incident where personal health information was compromised. Being the good doctor he was, he just wanted to take over some patient record, and he didn't have his laptop with him. So he just configured an unsecure mail client on his phone and didn't think any more about that. When his phone was stolen, all the patient records he had on the phone were compromised. Not a bad guy, just someone who found a loophole and used it because it was easier. To help with that, we obviously need training and awareness, but part of our role is also to ensure that they can't do that. And then on top of that, give them the tools to make their lives easier. All the doctor really needed was a secure web client, maybe full disk encryption on the phone. He would be all good. So for our mobile devices, we want to ensure that we have the policies and procedures and standards in place so we are more secure. We should lock down our USB ports, our CD drives, network ports, wireless devices, wireless networks, and disable auto run on any media that's inserted into a laptop or any other portable device. We can also add full disk encryption. If the device is stolen, the attacker really should have no way of accessing the data. And we can go a step further and install remote wipe capabilities. Most phones have that capability already, and you can pretty easily and inexpensively add it to laptops too. For this, as anywhere else, we want the defense in depth, and training and awareness is a big part of that. Cell phones are by far the most common mobile devices, and they're also the ones most often lost. If you use a phone with a current Android or iOS operating system, it will have by default full disk encryption. It's possible to turn it off, but why would you? How employees use their own phones we can't really do a lot about other than make sure they don't compromise their data or have it stored on their own phones. However, if we issue company phones, we have a lot more control. And both on company and private phones, we should have good security standards in place. We should have enabled that we can wipe it remotely. We should have enabled that we can find my device with tracking, lock the screen after a certain amount of minutes of not being used, only allow a certain amount failed password attempts, and for company phones at least, disable removable storages. If our organization is small, we might just configure the phones by hand and hand them out. But once we start moving into the hundreds and even more thousands of devices, we really need a centralized system where we can manage them. That will be an MDM or a mobile device management system. Using that, you can give every phone a standard basic configuration that you know is secure. But we can also add application white or blacklisting, storage segmentation, add or remove remote access, push new configuration up, take backups, and much more. If an employee leaves the company and doesn't bring the phone back, we can wipe it completely, or just wipe their parts where we have company information stored. And slightly more controversial, we can also monitor where our employees are, the data traffic they use, and the phone calls they make. If we in any way, shape, or form do that, they need to be told, and they need to sign a form where they agree to this before they get the phone. Laptops, smartphones, and tablets are great productivity tools, but just like anything else we have, they have to be secured properly or they're a liability. If we have a BYOD policy, or bring your own devices, where employees can use their own devices at work, we should have very clear policies, procedures, and guidelines on what's acceptable and what's not, what they can access with them or not, how they're allowed to use them, and also the extent of support we have on them. While it might be easy enough to have the standard Mac, Android, or Windows devices covered with help desk, having to support 50 or hundreds of different devices, operating systems, applications may not be feasible in our organization. A solution could maybe be that we add their devices to our mobile device management system. They accept that to some extent we monitor what they do and what they can't do. And as most other places, it's a fine balance between enough security and also having it being user-friendly. If we give them mobile devices, how do we ensure that we get them back after they're terminated or leave the company? If they use their own devices, how do we ensure there's no company data left on it after they leave? How do we ensure they don't go home and transfer it to another device? How do we ensure that their devices have the latest patches, have antivirus? So before we add mobile systems to our networks or allow employees to bring their own devices, a lot of thought and consideration have to go into how we can do it securely enough for what we need while still allowing our employees to do the job they need to do.